Hello, beautiful people, and welcome once again to our channel, Content with a Purpose. And tonight is 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock. No, it's 8 o'clock here in Houston. I know it's less in California. But tonight I'm joined by Corinne Huey. She's an art teacher. She teaches digital art online to other kids. And you're going to love her story. But without any delay, Corinne, all yours.
Hi, thanks for having me. As you said, I teach online digital art to kids all over the world. And yeah, I'm happy to share my story of how I got here and what's worked and what my challenges have been. Is there anything in particular you'd like to know about?
Actually, yes, I want to know what motivated you to start teaching kids online. What is your background?
So my background is I was an elementary school teacher for about 10 years. And in 2019, I started to freak out because my son was going to be in kindergarten soon. And I felt like I hadn't gotten to spend as much time with him as I wanted to. So I stepped back from full-time teaching in a classroom and moved into teaching part-time as a substitute teacher. And then spring of 2020 happened. And I no longer had my income, suddenly had way more time with my son than I had ever anticipated. And, I think a lot of people reacted in different ways to COVID lockdowns. And I really struggled seeing parents wondering, what am I going to do with my kids at home? I don't know how to be a teacher. I don't know how to do this homeschool stuff. So I kept sharing different resources that I found on Facebook. And one of them that kept popping up was a platform called OutSchool. And OutSchool is like an online marketplace of classes. And I looked into it and realized, oh, I can do that. And this can work with my schedule. I can still be teaching, but I don't have to be stuck in a classroom. I can still be teaching, but I don't have to be bound to a traditional school schedule. And it's going to be a way that I can help support my family even when everything is shut down.
That's super cool. So that is basically you went to a marketplace. And what is that? You are a freelancer over there?
Yeah, I guess the way they classify all of the teachers is that we are independent contractors. So I have my own independent teaching business. I'm in charge of the classes that I create, the price that I charge for them, the schedule that I offer them. And then I basically post them on OutSchool. And so families find me through the OutSchool website, and then they can sign up to they could take classes that any teacher offers. Of course, I love it when they take the classes that I offer. And it just works out really well, because let's say you have a child who doesn't do well in a traditional classroom. Well, there's going to be a welcoming space for them on OutSchool. Or maybe you have a family that likes to travel a lot, so you're not in traditional school at all. You're either homeschooling or unschooling. You can find classes on all different topics on OutSchool. So during COVID, it was really, really nice to be able to say, hey, if your kids are, missing social interactions, or they're needing like a creative outlet, you can bring them to OutSchool, and OutSchool can help meet those needs for your family.
That's fantastic. That's a great marketplace. I never heard of that one. Now I will have to go and Google it and start promoting it, because I do believe that parents need more resources to give the kids who are who learn differently, who have learning differences, because not everything is sitting down, or not everything is one single way of learning, so that we have too many things to that. And you mentioned that you have a kindergarten. Of course, right now it's no longer a kindergarten, but how do you manage your time between running your business, preparing your classes, helping your kids, and doing all the family balancing act?
Well, at first it was very challenging, because my mindset was still of like a classroom teacher, where, if I was at school, I would be working all day long. So if I'm at home, I had a mindset of I still need to be working like traditional school day hours. And homeschooling the time doesn't translate like that. So I would, do a 45-minute class and have a 15-minute break. And in that 15 minutes, I would go check on my son. set him up with an activity, make sure he had a snack, see how he was doing. And that lasted for the summer of 2020, but it really was not sustainable. So after that, I had to change my schedule around what works for my family and what works without me getting burnt out. So like teaching 8 classes a day, that's not sustainable. It's more like I can teach 4 classes a day, and figuring out when am I going to offer those 4 classes. So I really had to play around with my schedule and see, okay, does it work better to do a class, have a break, do a class, have a break, do a class, have a break? Does it do better to just have like class all day, 2 days a week? Or does it do better to just have a chunk of, a few hours a day, every day where I'm doing those classes? So
Oh,
it was just trial and error of figuring out what the balance was going to be.
so you let me see, I understand. Did you try to do on your online business, trying to replicate your regular routine as a teacher when you were at school, those 8 hours
Yeah.
in person? Did you do it online? Oh, that was a lot.
Oh yeah, it was. That will lead to burnout, and you'll
Mhm.
lose your voice and your back will hurt if you're sitting at a computer the whole time. So yeah, I figured out pretty quickly that was not going to be sustainable, and had to start making changes and find something that would be sustainable long term. Also at the end of that summer, I got pregnant with my second child. So I got to throw, nausea into the mix, and
That was never good.
yeah. I'd be sitting there thankful that I was only being viewed, from the collarbone up, and I could
Yes.
have ginger ale and my crackers and, take a
I
nap and
can
sleep.
imagine the lower part of the desk hidden. Like, no, you cannot see
Oh
all
yeah.
Toms and all the Alka-Seltzer that I have them there.
Mhm. I think it was funny. I think when I went into labor a few weeks early, and I think it came as a shock. I don't know if any of my students knew that I even was having a baby. Because like
Because they
only
cannot see
saw
you.
me from here up. So that was also, it
Mhm.
was nice that after I had my daughter, she's 2 now, and after I had her, because I'm in charge of my business, I was able to take 2 months off, and not have to worry about a thing. I just like set it and forget it kind of a thing. I put a message, I'm taking a leave, I will be back on this date, and I had my classes ready to go.
Mhm.
Um, and
So
yeah,
you didn't try to go all super mom to say, well, I just gave birth, I can give at least one class or nothing. You just said, I'm going to
I
have my maternity leave. Thank you.
Mhm.
I'll be back.
Yes, a full break. And the nice thing was when I did come back, I was able to message the families that I had and say, "Hey, I'm teaching classes again. I think, your child so and so would really like this one particular class. Hope I get to see them." Um, so I have managed to maintain some of the same learners, for years at a time, because I enjoy
They're
seeing,
growing with
they
you.
enjoy taking
Mhm.
class. Yeah, and we
Mhm.
develop a nice bond,
Mhm.
like would if we were in a traditional classroom
Oh,
setting.
yeah, that's so cool. And yeah, you put your pregnancy into the mix. I was going to ask what were your challenges, which of course pregnancy was a huge challenge for you to run this business. But also I believe that what other challenges was there besides the pregnancy?
Well, when my son did start kindergarten, he was doing online kindergarten through our school district. So it was a challenge to have both of us in our, online classrooms at the same time.
Yeah.
Because so I'm in a room and his desk was like behind me. We were kind of back to back. So it was challenging trying to make sure that he was paying attention to his class while I'm also leading my class. That was a big challenge. And honestly, childcare is another big challenge, because I work this business around the childcare that I have. So if my childcare ever falls through, I need to be, immediately flexible with what I'm offering. And fortunately, this business is set up so that I do have that flexibility, which is really, really convenient.
That's impressive. So as many working moms, your challenge is mainly your childcare system. Do you have any network, family network, or you literally have to
Yeah.
go and find
So,
a nanny?
the first, let's see, from 2020 until my daughter was born, we didn't have any childcare. So my son was just home, and we would try to keep him out of trouble as much as possible while my husband and I were both working. And then when my daughter was a baby, she was content, to be held or swing in a swing, or she'd be taking a nap. So the bulk of the childcare, when she was probably up until about 6 months, my husband could watch her while he was working.
Okay.
And then after that, it started to get really hard once she got mobile.
Okay, yeah.
And fortunately, my parents and my in-laws both live, within 20 minutes of us. And so incredibly fortunate that my mom will help out for a couple hours each week. And then my in-laws will take my toddler for 2 days each week. So that has been our childcare situation. It's not guaranteed. So like if either of the grandparents has a trip planned, or if somebody gets sick, then I have no childcare, and it is what it is. But I'm incredibly fortunate to have support from family.
Well, yes, I've been interviewing other moms, and one of the main things that they have is a support network. You say, if without a support network, whatever it means for you, that network, usually moms who are trying to start a business while having a family, it is almost impossible. They said either you hire somebody full time and then all your money goes there, or
Mm-hmm.
you start making a little bit like, okay, I take care of your kids 2 days and then you take care of mine 2 days while I do my business. So it's kind of trying to balancing all these challenges of how to someone babysitting your kids, basically.
Yeah.
what what um what are the what is your main motivation? What keeps you motivated on doing this when
Hmm.
obviously it is complicated sometimes being online all the time?
I think my main motivation is just being able to maintain the flexibility to be there for my kids and not have to ask anybody's permission to go take care of them.
Clear, very clear. That's on point. Like, yes, that's your motivation. I think that's a perfect one. And if there's another mom who's actually trying to start a side business, what would you recommend? What would you tell her to do? Or
Hmm.
suggest her to do?
I think I would validate how difficult it is. When you are a mom trying to start a business, it's challenging, and people might not always share your vision. They might not understand why you want to do this, when you could just go get a regular job, a job working for somebody else. And I guess I would just say, if you really want it, you can do it, even if it's challenging. It is challenging, and don't let anybody tell you that it's not. Like, well, I feel like I'm kind of rambling here. I guess my point is that people might try to tell you that you can start a business and it's not hard, and then you'll try starting a business and you'll find that it is hard, and you'll feel like a failure. And my point is, you are not a failure. It is hard. You can do it. It is hard. And if someone tells you it's not hard and it's hard for you, that's okay.
How did you how did you manage to move forward those feelings of like, oh my God, this is so hard. I really don't know what I'm doing. What, how did you do it?
I think one good thing to do is reach out to other people who are in your similar situation. So whether that's finding, Facebook groups that you can network in, or reaching out to other people that you know in your life who are small business owners or who have tried to start up a small business, that's huge. Because I think, running your own business, if you don't have a social network like that, can be very isolating. And it's important to have people that you can go to and say, oh, I'm experiencing this right now. And then they'll say, oh, yeah, I experienced that too. Here's what we can do about it.
Okay. So that's part of the support that you did. You went to the groups and they were telling you, hey, that was my mistake too. Don't worry. It happens to
Mhm.
everybody. Well,
Right.
that's super. And how did you how do you in all this dynamic where you're trying to, for you it was very simple, not simple, but you was very logical to say, if I'm an art teacher, I can give and teach classes for
Mhm.
art. Have you ever thought about doing anything else?
Yes, I also have a Reiki business.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I have not put nearly the amount of time or effort or thought into it. So it's like this teaching business is like my day job, and the Reiki business is like my little baby side hustle that I need to nurture and grow.
Oh, tell me a little bit more about your Reiki business.
So Reiki was another thing that came into my life during the pandemic. And for me, with teaching and with Reiki, both of them were a calling that I absolutely could not ignore. And once I had my first Reiki treatment, like it was life changing. And I thought, I need to figure out how to help other people feel this way and have this life changing experience. Um, so I continued on my training, my Reiki practice, and started my Reiki business. And I just put most of my focus on the teaching business.
Because it's hard, right?
Yeah, I can only do so many things. Maybe if I had full-time childcare, I could do both, but I gotta prioritize at the moment.
Okay, that is a point that I can you elaborate a little bit more, because I've been interviewing another moms, and that is one of the things that they are telling me. And when you are trying to prioritize what to
Mhm,
do first, you always put the kids first. At,
mhm.
that's the reason from us mom to do it. And then
Yeah.
one of the moms said, yes, but you still, the kids have 8 hours to do their stuff, and then they go to sleep at 7. At 7, it's my time. So I do everything in the night. Like, well, you're a
Mhm.
midnight owl just like me. How do you do that? How do you make those priorities?
Well, when the kids did go to bed at 7, yeah, it's really easy to say, oh, I'm just going to work once the kids go to bed. My oldest son no longer goes to bed at 7. He deals with a lot of anxiety. And so sometimes his anxiety is he's still awake at like 10 p.m. Um, so very quickly I learned I cannot, like me personally, I cannot be burning the candle at both ends. I cannot just work on my business after the kids go to sleep and stay up extra late into the wee hours of the morning and then wake up at dawn to start taking care of the kids. If there are moms out there who can do that, I applaud you. I salute you. I wish you could send me some of those like vibes of being able to survive on little sleep. I tried doing that for probably about for a couple years, and it was not healthy. Um, so I decided I was going to start prioritizing sleep,
Mhm.
prioritizing drinking water, prioritizing, waking up and doing a meditation and, practicing Reiki.
Mhm.
And once you start taking care of yourself and prioritizing your physical, mental, emotional needs, it's easier to look at the tasks you have in business and say, okay, what is actually going to move the needle forward? Here's my kitty
Hey,
cat.
hello, kitty.
Does it make more sense to stay up late spending my time working on social media posts because I feel like as a business owner I have to have a presence on social media? Or does it make sense to say, you know what, it's 8:30, my eyes are really tired, I'm gonna go to bed and come at this with fresh eyes tomorrow? Like being able to discern what's going to have the most impact, I think, is an important way to figure out your priorities.
Well, you're absolutely right. I do believe that self-care is crucial for a small business owner and entrepreneur to move forward and to be successful. Because if you don't put the oxygen mask first, then you cannot help anybody. And as a business owner or a mom, you really need to take care of yourself. So yeah, you're absolutely right. And on this Reiki, because I just interviewed a mom who has a side business too. She said she's a full-time teacher, and she's starting her part-time. So it's almost like you, that you're a full-time teacher online, but you're a full-time teacher, and you also having your side business. Now, one of the things that I remember from that conversation is that a lot of her side business come from her network, and her network is their friends and the family and the other members of the school. Now that you are online, how do you get those? How do you nurture your second business?
My second business has been so far also just people that I know in person and sort of spreading via word of mouth.
That's perfect. I do believe that word of mouth is one of the best marketing ever. Actually, it is the best marketing. I had to take a screenshot of you with the cat. Can you post that, because I love that part?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, are you gonna
Oh yes, here, that is the best, even better.
No, I don't want him to disappear.
There he is. That's the perfect screenshot. Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm going to put that one on the cover. That's a beautiful one.
He likes to join my classes, and when he comes in, I call him the bonus learner. And usually once he joins class, all the kids will run off and go grab their pets. Lots of bonus learners join us.
Bonus learner. No, mine are 3 dogs, 1 cat, but if I put them in, they're going to be they actually see the cat on the screen. That is so funny. They actually see cats. It's amazing. So we're going to be having cats and dogs over here. So, and lastly, but not least, what are your offers right now that you can share with our viewers?
So right now, I would recommend if anyone has a child between the ages of like 9 and 14 or so, that they try the Procreate Animation Camp, where I teach how to make simple little animations using an app called Procreate on their iPads.
Oh, in iPads. With, 3D animation is one of the skills of the future, and the kids really need to learn how to do that. I've seen everything. A lot of artists saying we need to do this because movies, cartoons, webtoons, everything is in digital. Even marketing, we're starting to do a lot of the animations digital. So yes. And how can they find you?
They can find me just at www.CorinneHuey.com. Nice and simple.
That's it. And your Instagram or Facebook?
It's at Mrs. Huey's class.
Mrs. Huey's class. Okay, so I'm going to put it on the show notes. And anything else you want to tell our audience?
Well, thank you so much for having me today. And if you're a mom in business, you can do this. You got it.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Corinne. And what's the name of that little pet? Mr. Whiskers?
Oh, this is Oliver.
Oliver. And thank you, Oliver, for joining us too.